Have you ever met someone who says, "I'm better off alone," and actually means it? Not because they can't find love, not because they're broken, but because being single feels safer, cleaner, and even more powerful than any relationship they've ever been in. And it's funny. Society constantly asks people, "Why are you still single?" As if being alone is a problem to fix. But here's the twist. Some people stay single because they understand relationships more deeply than anyone else. They've seen what love can do, both the beauty and the destruction. They know how powerful emotional connection is, and they're careful with it, almost like handling fire. So today we're diving deep into the inner world of people who choose to stay single. Not the lonely ones, not the heartbroken ones, but the ones who say, "I could be with someone, but I'd rather not." And trust me, once you understand the psychology behind this, you'll never look at single people the same way again. Let's break this down. Because the truth is, there are 4 different types of long-term singles, and the 4th one is the one no one ever dares to talk about. But before that, let me paint a picture. Imagine this. Someone sits alone in their apartment on a Saturday night. Their phone is silent, the city outside is loud, and they're sitting with a bowl of pasta watching a show they love. Most people would feel lonely. But this person, they feel at peace. No drama, no expectations, no pretending. Just themselves. That moment right there tells you everything. Because for some people, being single isn't a lack. It's a choice rooted in emotional clarity and self-understanding. Now let's dive into the deeper layers. Why do some people stay single even when they're perfectly capable of attracting love? Let's start with the first type. The first group is what psychologists call the self-protectors. These are people who have been hurt before, deeply. Maybe by a relationship, maybe by family, maybe by someone who broke their trust. And because of that, they learned one powerful truth. Love is beautiful, but losing it can destroy you. They're not bitter. They're not angry. They're just cautious. When they feel someone getting too close, their mind starts whispering, "What if this ends badly? What if I lose myself again? What if they hurt me the way I was hurt before?" Self-protectors stay single because solitude is predictable. Relationships? Not so much. They've seen how fast someone can change. They've felt the pain of loving someone who didn't love them back the same way. They've experienced nights where heartbreak didn't just hurt. It rewired them. So now, they choose safety, they choose control, they choose stability over passion. But here's the thing most people miss. They don't avoid love because they don't want it. They avoid love because they feel too much. Their heart is sensitive. Their attachment runs deep. And for people like this, falling in love isn't casual. It's a full body, full soul experience. So staying single becomes a shield, a quiet, strong, invisible shield that says, "I'm okay, right here." The second group is completely different. These are people who stay single for one core reason. They love their freedom more than they love the idea of having a partner. And this shocks people. Because society tells us that happiness comes from a relationship, a partner, a family. But freedom lovers, they are wired differently. They wake up whenever they want, travel when they want, eat what they want, make decisions without consulting anyone. And to them, this is not loneliness, it's luxury. They think relationships demand too much. Attention, emotional energy, compromise, sacrifice, routine, predictability, and for them, life is too short to constantly adjust themselves to someone else's needs. Freedom lovers stay single because they feel most alive when they are independent. They don't hate commitment. They just love their own life more. Relationships feel like weight. Single life feels like wings. And the funniest part, people often judge them, saying, "You're scared of commitment." But that's not true. They're not scared of commitment. They're scared of committing to the wrong life. This group is misunderstood the most. These are the people who stay single not because they're picky, but because their standards come from a place of self-respect. They want love, but not the cheap version. They want connection, but not the draining one. They want a partner, but only if that person adds peace, not chaos. High-standard minds refuse to settle. They're the type who say, "I'd rather wait years for the right person than waste time with the wrong one." And this isn't arrogance. This is emotional maturity. They understand themselves. They know what they bring to a relationship. They know what they need to feel safe, loved, and appreciated. And until they find someone who matches that energy, they're perfectly comfortable being single. You know what's interesting? Research shows that people with high emotional intelligence stay single longer, but end up in much healthier marriages later. Because they choose intentionally, not impulsively. They aren't scared of being alone. They're scared of being with someone who makes them feel alone. That is a psychological difference only the mature will understand. White medium star ending. The truth about people who stay single, 200 words. Now here's the final, deeper truth. People who stay single long-term are not broken. They are not afraid. They are not failures, they're simply people who understand one rare thing. Being alone is better than being in the wrong relationship. They don't chase validation. They don't rush love. They don't fear silence. They build themselves, they grow. They heal. They learn. And if love comes, great. If not, they'll still live a full, meaningful life. Because they know something most people don't. You can be single and still be whole. You can be single and still be happy. You can be single and still be deeply loved by friends, family, passions, and your own soul. So the real question isn't, why are they still single? The real question is, what makes them so strong that they'd rather walk alone than walk in the wrong direction with someone else? And maybe, just maybe, that's not something to question but something to respect.